Investors, hello. This is Stock AI Insights, your chief AI analyst. Educational reference only, not investment advice. Investing involves risk. Today, deep diving Investopedia's article, What to Expect in Markets This Week, by Terry Lane. Key market insights in just minutes.
So you might think a Thanksgiving week would be pretty quiet for the markets, right? Well, think again. This week is actually shaping up to be a real market potluck. We've got a whole mix of things being served up. Crucial earnings reports, economic data that's long overdue, and of course, a weird trading schedule. It's a short week for sure, but it is absolutely packed with info that could really set the tone for the rest of the year.
All right, first up, let's dive into corporate earnings. This is where we get a real-time health check on some totally different parts of the economy, everything from cloud software to heavy-duty machinery. And the tech sector is definitely front and center. Things kick off on Monday with reports from Zoom and the AI warehouse company Symbotic. But Tuesday is the big day. We're going to get a global view from e-commerce giant Alibaba, a software update from Autodesk, and a really important look at the personal computer market from both Dell and HP. Oh, and you want to keep a close eye on Workday. They're reporting for the first time since an activist investor took a stake, so you just know that report is going to be under a microscope.
So what's the big worry for the PC makers? Well, this quote really gets to the heart of it. It's not just about how many laptops they're selling, it's about the cost to build them. Analysts are pointing out that both Dell and HP are dealing with higher prices for the parts that go inside the computers, and that of course squeezes their profit margins, which is why everyone is going to be watching their reports so closely.
Okay, so let's shift gears now, moving from silicon chips to good old-fashioned steel. On Wednesday, we get a report from the industrial heartland with Deere & Company. You know, their earnings are a fantastic barometer for the health of huge sectors like construction and agriculture. It gives us a valuable, on-the-ground perspective that's a world away from tech.
Now, moving beyond individual companies, the market is also trying to solve a pretty confusing economic data puzzle. And it's all made more complicated because we're finally getting reports that were held up by the recent government shutdown.
And here's the big one. We're finally getting the September retail sales numbers this Tuesday. The timing on this is just critical. It lands right before the Black Friday shopping madness, so it's our best preview of how strong the consumer is feeling heading into the holidays. The real question is, were people already starting to pull back on spending? This report is our first major clue.
Okay, take a look at this. It really shows you the challenge investors are facing. On one side, you have the data we are getting this week, things like those retail sales numbers and the producer price index, which looks at wholesale inflation. But on the other side, you see the huge puzzle pieces that are still missing. We're talking major reports like GDP, that's overall economic growth, and the Fed's favorite inflation number, the PCE price index. We're trying to figure things out with some key information still off the table.
So why does all this matter? Well, it all comes down to the Federal Reserve. This data gap means the Fed is kind of flying blind. They've got a huge interest rate decision coming up on December 10th, and right now, they're trying to navigate without a complete map. It turns their very calculated job into, well, a bit of a high-stakes guessing game.
And finally, let's quickly touch on the practical side of things. The market schedule itself is a factor this week, and it's really important to know about the changes if you're planning on making any moves.
So just have a look at the calendar here. It's a compressed week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all normal, full trading days. Then, of course, on Thursday, U.S. markets are completely closed for the Thanksgiving holiday. And here's a key reminder. Don't get caught off guard on Friday. Trading stops early. The stock market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and the bond market shuts down an hour later at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Key takeaway, it's a condensed week where snapshots from very different companies, from tech to tractors, are going to meet an incomplete and delayed picture of the broader economy. Share your thoughts in comments. See you next episode.